I had Pachinik on the week of Benghazi last year. I had Colonel Anthony Schaefer on, and we played some clips of this last night, and we laid out exactly what it was. We knew then it was an ordered stand down, and in the months after that, it came out it was a stand down. Of course, Obama wasn't asleep. Of course, Hillary knew. She says, well, what difference does it make why they're dead? Try that if you kill your wife or you kill your husband and you call the cops and they show up and they go, why is your wife stabbed to death in the bed? Did you do this? What difference does it make? What difference does it make? And this is about government being above the law. The district attorney of Travis County caught driving at 3 times the legal blood alcohol level on the wrong side of a highway, almost killing people. She almost had a bunch of head-on collisions. People called the cops. Right over there on the highway, right off of 620, right by Steiner Ranch. She's totally drunk on the footage, and the Democrats are all saying, hey, let her stay in office. This is no big deal. Even though there's a law that a district attorney cannot ever be arrested for public intoxication. There's a law because, you know, people drink, and there were issues with district attorneys strutting around drunk, threatening people in Texas history. You can look it up. Now she will do whatever she wants. And it's the same thing now with Benghazi. They will do what they want on this. They're saying Hillary's not going to resign. Rice isn't going to resign. They are caught red-handed in 2 stand-down orders that they then lied about. And 5 days after this happened, they had Rice in front of the UN and on all the news shows saying, remember this? Saying there, ladies and gentlemen, there has not been one single piece of evidence this was a terror attack. And they said that over and over and over and over and over again. And you can pull up the headlines. They even said that it was a conspiracy theory, that people were saying it was a terror attack. And they used some YouTube video that had been out for months that was, strangely enough, produced by a neocon FBI-connected individual who they set up and sent to prison. So much for free speech in America. And then they hyped that, trying to create riots in the Middle East to be the political distraction. A false flag, just like Fast and Furious, to be blamed on the Second Amendment. And even though they got caught, CBS News, caught, they still don't care. They're now blaming the Second Amendment with it. So we are here witnessing the unprecedented in modern history, open, naked, hand in the cookie jar staged event. And again, people are like, oh, this is so incredible. We have all the breaking news, I say that in quotes, up on Infowars.com, up on prisonplanet.com. We have it all up there. But if you go back to when this happened last year, how long ago was Benghazi? 8 months ago? Yeah, September 11th, 2012. So almost 8 months ago. And now it's all breaking. No, it's not breaking. Every bit of this was actually even in mainstream news. That the people that attacked, the mob that were called protesters, the protesters with the rocket launchers and artillery and anti-aircraft guns and missiles that attacked knew all the internal procedures and highly classified information that only specialized State Department security groups are aware of. And that all came out because they were sent to kill everybody in that building, because right behind that building was a giant warehouse full of, and you can pull this up, the guys can pull it up for TV viewers, type in jihadist or rebels, Libyan and Syrian rebels show off heat-seeking missiles they got in Libya. Shoulder-fired, point-and-shoot, heat-seeking missiles, where somebody with about 20 minutes of training, just like a video game in an arcade at Dave & Buster's, you know, they got games where you can fire heat-seeking missiles, shoulder-fired. And it's the same thing. You turn it on, you aim through the reticle, It lights up. It says it's got a lock on the heat signature that you want to aim it at, because there might be a smokestack, mile over here. You don't want to aim at that and click and have it ready. And you don't want it to be on, let's say, your own helicopter that's flying around. You want it to be on that passenger jet taking off. So the passenger jet takes off. It's at about 3,000 to 4,000 feet. It's coming over you. You look at it. You lock on. Right on its engine, and you squeeze the trigger. You don't even have to aim. Missile goes right up, hits the engine, blows the wing off. Heat-seeking missiles are missing from Libyan arms stockpile. What is that out of? New York Times. Yeah, show them the BBC headline, though. The loving headline about Libyan rebels. Syrian rebels show off heat-seeking missiles. That too is the New York Times. Yeah, it's the New York Times being reposted to the Seattle Times. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're talking about here. And I have reporters call me up and they go, so you claim that the government put al-Qaeda in charge in Libya and Syria and gave them heat-seeking missiles. No, I don't claim anything. I don't claim they've come out in the New York Times and said, oh, the overhaul for your rights, we're going to spy on you without warrants now. And by the way, we've been recording everything you say for a decade, everything. Everything is recorded. And then they laugh at you on CNN and in the New York Times and say it's a good thing because they think you're broken-backed. They think there's nothing that you won't put up with. They think that it is basically over. But it's actually more than that. We are at the critical jump point crossroads right now in human civilization and society where there is a burgeoning giant real alternative media, bigger in the aggregate than the dying dinosaur, corporatist, globalist, kleptocracy, crony capitalist, anti-free market, joker media, the sycophant media, the teleprompter reading media, the buggy whip media, the horsewhip media, trying to contend with the Model T. It ain't happening. All the king's horses, all the king's men are not going to put your fraud together again. No amount of internet kill switches, no amount of setting nukes off and saying foreign enemies did it and trying to resurrect a new dark age. Nothing you do, nothing. Nothing you pull, nothing you try, nothing you push, nothing will put the genie back in the bottle. Train left the station. Horse left the barn. Donkey ain't coming back. And the only question is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going? Well, they're going to try to bring in a police state and shut down the alternative media and use spam filters to block alternative media. And it's not going to work. The people now know. The people now know. And that's why we're in so much danger, is because the establishment is used to being in power. They're accustomed to getting away with anything. And they are not going to give up power. They are going to continue to go for it all. They are not going to give up easily. And they are cornered rats. And that is why they are launching on every single front out there a full-scale, desperate Battle of the Bulge event. You got the United States and Allied forces coming in out of France, out of Normandy. They've now gotten up to the edge of the German border, and you have an all-out, desperate, Axis Nazi offensive with everything they had, throwing it at the Allies. But they had untrained people in the tanks and in the weapon systems, even though their weapon systems were better, and they didn't have the moral high ground. And they had the Russians on their other flank, and they failed. And you had people like Zeb Dietrich and others, leading SS Panzer groups, drunk off their hind end, busy lining hookers up, lining up the local townswomen. And it was just an arrogance. Once an elite gets an arrogance, even if they have courage, they can't win. And it's all over. I mean, I don't know how bad it's going to get, but it's all over for the New World Order. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But it's going to get very, very nasty. It's going to get very, very bad. I can also tell you, I talk to high-powered reporters almost every day. I talk to government people. I talk to military brass. I talk to top generals retired. I talk to people, and they apologize to me every day. And they say, wow, you really were right about all this. It's worse than you say. I can't believe it. And you see, once people are no longer naive, once people don't have their own cognitive dissonance, once people realize they've been wrong, once people know how much trouble we're in, they're going to then see it all for themselves. It's not like people are tuning into Alex Jones's vision of the world. The White House, on record, ordered the stand down in Libya and pulled the security and then covered it up and lied about it so they could transfer heat-seeking missiles to al-Qaeda, who they hired as the head of security in Libya, period. Many anthropologists and archaeologists believe that before man even discovered the power to harness and use fire, we were involved in agrarian activities. That is, taking the seeds of plants and then replanting them to produce more. The very foundation of our modern civilization and human culture is centered around the planting and cultivation of edible plants, fruits, vegetables, nuts, you name it. And the globalists have been going after gardening. They've been harassing people that have gardens in their front yards or their backyards. They've called for licenses for people to have gardens because you can't trust prisoners in the police state America to be able to grow their own food. That's why I've come to the realization that we need to become self-sufficient. You need to be informed. You need to have the Second Amendment to protect yourself. You need to be politically active to wake up others. You need to filter your water. But you also need to plant a garden. Even if you live in an apartment, you can do this. If you live in the countryside, obviously you can do it on a grand scale. There are so many green belts and areas that humans don't even visit, nearby cities and in suburbs, where people are now more and more planting their own little private gardens and meadows and off the side of the road. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a revolutionary act to unplug from the television, to unplug from the computer and all the globalist propaganda, and to go out in your backyard or your front yard or planters at your apartment or on the roof of the building where you live, and to plant a garden.
Here are some of the amazing deals at InfoWars Seed Center at InfoWarsShop.com. The Survival Seed Vault by My Patriot Supply features only the finest survival heirloom seeds for a robust and hardy garden, even in the toughest of times. The ARC All-in-One Seed Kit contains 70 varieties of 50,000 seeds of fruits, vegetables, medicinal, and culinary herbs. All ARC seeds are heirloom. Each type is labeled and sealed separately for ease of use and longevity. The Deluxe Emergency Seed Bank combines 3 of Emergency Seed Bank's top sellers: the Family Survival Emergency Seed Bank, the Medicinal Herb Seeds Pack, and the Culinary Herb Seeds Pack. We also have starter varieties of the deluxe seed packages for fruit, salad, salsa, peppers, and medicinal herbs and more. Go to the InfoWars Seeds Center at InfoWarsShop.com.
A little seed can grow a huge tree that produces fruit for up to 50 years. We have the best life bombs. That's what these are. We have the best weapons against death out there at the lowest prices, waiting for you to lovingly plant them and lovingly grow them and lovingly eat them and share them with others. We will strike back against the New World Order, and this is only one more initiative in our fight against them. So please join us at InfoWarsShop.com, or you can link through at Infowars.com at the InfoWars Seed Center. Alex Jones here, back live. If you guys will punch up my screen, I'll show TV viewers what I'm looking at out of the Express newspaper in the UK. Age of consent should be lowered to 13 to stop persecution of old men, says top lawyer, top barrister. A top female barrister has sparked outrage after claiming the age of consent in Britain should be lowered to 13 in order to stop the persecution of old men in the wake of the Seville sex abuse scandal. By the way, Seville on record now with foster children, very small children, under the age of 10, raping the daylights out of them in devil worship ceremonies. And in Florida, they're trying to change the law right now so they can, and the state is moving to let your 11-year-olds have abortions. Some states have done that, and also to give them inoculations. In Texas, they want 14. I mean, it's a pervert's world, man. It is a pervert's world. And this guy, of course, was top advisor to the Queen and Prince Charles and bragged that he brought them special things. Yes, special things. Now it's just coming out, the unbelievable feeding on children. That's what national security's always been used for. In every culture, there's maybe 1/10 of 1% of the public that you could be described as vampires. They love to hurt children. They love to torture people. They love darkness. They always seek to get power, to be above the law, so that they can be protected from the town folks who would get the pitchforks and, you know, come to the castle and burn it down. And they call it lore, but if you study history, they would routinely burn down the castle in France or Transylvania or England, for that matter, saying the local lord had grabbed their children and eaten them or raped them. And you look at the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Babylonians, the Druids, every culture sacrificed children en masse because these psycho groups, they want control. So they end up getting in control of government. And then within a few generations, it's always temples with children being cut up and raped in public. And, well, a lot of cultures like to get fires going. The Northern Europeans did this. The Druids did this all over Eastern Europe, Central Europe, Northern Europe. What is England today, UK. By the way, you can look this up if you're a new listener. They liked having big altars and burning small babies on them. Well, their favorite was also 5, 6, 7 because they believe the gods like the begging and the screaming, so they would tie you to a post too and burn you. That's why the Middle Ages witch burning was just a continuation of something, you know, they like to do. You know, just for new reasons now, if you practiced alternative medicine, they would call you a witch and burn you. Turned out it was satanic cults actually posing a lot of times as people in the church that were, you know, getting their kicks via that, and also raping and torturing whoever they wanted to. Because, see, it's not really a destination, it's a journey. The destination is the journey. It's getting there that's fun. This is the adventure, and it's about 1/2 of 1% that I would call flaming children of Satan who like torturing small children. And, you know, they need a national security arm. They need a Homeland Security. How many Homeland Security people have been busted by their own colleagues? It's got to be over 100 now. I see a new one every week or so at the highest and then even lowest levels with small children in devil worship cults, raping people. This is what they do. This is what they do. This is what they're into. You know, it came out with Bill Clinton that I guess, you know, he's not as dark as some. He likes to get, his thing is hot blondes, good-looking bombshell blondes, voluptuous blondes. You know, this came out. They settled court cases on this. And he likes to get them in a room, and he'll slap them on their ear, on the side of their head, so there's not a mark. He'll slap them upside the head, and then grab them by the throat. Please come in my office, ma'am. And he slaps them upside the head, and then grabs them by the throat, and he says, take your pants off. And if they whimper in any way, he goes, listen, it's okay, I'm going to kiss you. And he bites them on the lip, kind of like a badger, and until they bleed, snarling with spit coming out of his mouth while he rapes them. And he pins them down, biting them. It's almost like a ring in a bull's nose. He's a loving person. See, he doesn't like having the sex. He likes the raping. And so they want to rape you. They want to rape your bank account. They want to rape your future. They are raping your health with GMO, the vaccines, all of it. And you see, they're doing it because they like it. And all of you that are naive are letting these people, these pedophile armies, get away with what they're doing. Pedophile armies with nuclear weapons. The media makes a joke out of that. That's not a joke. The UN everywhere. You don't get in the UN army. This has come out in court hearings. In an officer position unless you're a pedophile. I had tried everything. I'd cut back the amount of food I was eating. I was lifting weights and jogging, but nothing was working. My body was literally starving for minerals and trace elements as well as key vitamins. And as soon as I had that, I immediately could eat half of what I was eating previously and be satisfied. Now, there are hundreds of great products at InfoWarsTeam.com, but I want to point out the 3 that have helped me lose 37 pounds in just 2 months. Products like Beyond Tangy Tangerine, Pollen Burst, and Rebound. When I started taking the Tangy Tangerine and other products every day, I lost more than 37 pounds in just 2 months. Now that's results. I want to challenge my listeners to go to InfoWarsTeam.com and to order just 3 of their products, and you will see the changes in the way you look, feel, and in your appetite almost immediately. Start your journey to health and wellness today. InfoWarsTeam.com. Does that make us crazy? Possibly. Because when you're in a culture of people that have been incrementally trained to accept incredible tyranny, people that are awake and aware are the bad guys. In a world of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. Eric Blair, a.k.a. George Orwell. And, I read mainstream British newspapers going, hey, we've got this issue with these secret guilds of old men with little kids. Let's just legalize it. Hey, why not let your 10-year-olds sign contracts to sell out their future? Why not let them have abortions without telling you? Why not let them take vaccines? Oh, you're doing all that. And who's doing it? The dirtbag state saying the kids belong to them. And that's why I just saw that article up on Infowars.com, and I linked through to the newspaper. And it's just so upsetting to know that we're right about this, that historically history is repeating itself. And to know that it's these guilds of crooks that are infiltrating every institution. And that our naivete and our passiveness is the ether in which they swim. I'm going to get into Benghazi. I'm going to try to really crystallize Benghazi here. And then I want to get into what's happening economically. I want to really try to get into some of the other Second Amendment news I've got here in front of me. And when we have a loaded raft of guests. But I also want to give folks a chance, listeners. I want to hear from you. What do you think about Benghazi? 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. And we will get you up and on the air here today. 800-259-9231. Do you think that this will bring down the system or at least bring down the Obamanoids and at least create some fear in criminals in government that lying could get them caught? Stuff like this is very healthy, what's happening. Or will it just be something Republicans score points with, but don't actually restore liberty with? Because let me tell you, the crooks in Washington, they're not all crooks, but most of them are. And the higher you get, the more the percentage is. They do not want to open the real can of worms, because if Obama and his people start going down, they're going to start releasing all the info they know. What do you think the NSA is for? What do you think all these spy grids are for? It's so that they've got data mines they can go into every recording, every phone call, everything. It's been going on for decades. They now admit the last 10 years or so. Everything you've done the last 20 years is recorded by these criminals. Every time they did it, it was a felony. And again, it wasn't to keep you safe from Al-Qaeda. These criminals run Al-Qaeda. Oh, you're saying the firefighters on 9/11 did it? No, that's what you said, Hearst Publishing. The global crime syndicate inside our government did that. That's what tyrants do. 800-259-9231. But I want to talk about the human revolt against tyranny, and then I'm going to get into Benghazi and your phone calls. But first off, this is a news piece / produced promo ad. It's part ad, part, I guess you call it infomercial. But it really is something near and dear to my heart. I want to have a rebellion against Monsanto. a rebellion against them Europe right now is trying to ban non-hybrid heirloom seeds. I mean, that's mainstream news. I mean, this is Twilight Zone. And you think, well, Europe's where they're fighting GMO. No, they're doing an end run around it, saying, well, you know, you can't sell these because it can't be taxed. They want a farming tax, just like a property tax is a feudal tax. All of this is about control. Because if the globalists don't keep you down, you'll build your own systems, and then they won't be in control anymore. They're threatened by Renaissance, Enlightenment. They are the old, staid, dark age trying to reassert itself. The New World Order is the old world order. We are Renaissance. You are Renaissance. We must live the Renaissance. We must struggle against the guilds. We must struggle against centralization. We must create real local communities and real sustainability to counter their false sustainability. People say, why are you always going and interviewing sustainable farmers and sustainable horticulture and sustainable aquaponics? And why are you always going and interviewing, you know, co-ops? That's communism. No, it's not. Having millions of people forced off their land into giant slave camps is communism. Co-ops are humans working together. Everything good they've made counterfeits of. Got another big piece tonight about co-ops and horticulture and just everything. There it is, European Commission to criminalize nearly all seeds and plants not registered with government. And then the registering is so expensive, all these thousands of old varieties of things that no one can even get it certified, so then it's outlawed. Unbelievable. That's natural news. Now, I'm going to go to people's calls on the Benghazi front here in a moment. But first, I wanted to get into the spirit of resistance against hypocrisy and corruption. Here is an article. I'm going to talk about this with Lord Monckton when he joins us later in the next hour. Prince Charles attacks global warming skeptics. Prince uses speech at St. James Palace to single out confirmed skeptics like it's dirty, like he sets the rules, and environmentally unfriendly businesses. That means things not owned by him. This is a guy that has his own private train, more than 20 aircraft, and more than 30 palaces himself. There's something like 400 royal palaces in England, Wales, and Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Some of the palaces have more than guys, pull up the biggest palace, how many rooms? I want to say 1,000, but I'm going from memory on that. Some so-called palaces are up to 100 square miles. That is the land around them. So they're their own self-contained cities with generational families that live there as minions, disconnected from reality under these people. You can pull up an article. Prince Charles says the old should not take hot baths. And pensioners should have their natural gas allotment cut, but then they use government pension funds, you can look all this up, to heat the palaces. And there were articles about old people last year in England with their gas allotment cut off, driving around in buses with a bus ticket through the night so they wouldn't freeze to death. This is a guy who's a eugenicist who thinks you shouldn't have a standard of living, but he can live in palaces everywhere. So here's the article, Prince Charles. We're going to talk about that with Lord Monckton. I'm going to pull those articles up. If you're a new listener, I'm not joking. They've said Britons, including old people, should not take hot showers or baths. Okay? I mean, this is total hypocrisy. Look at this article out of London Guardian as well. Chinese officials sacked after citizen journalist exposes extravagant banquet. He bust in on a cop banquet in a city with starving people. They have thousands of riots a month now in China, conservatively. Thousands. The people are fighting back. And he bust in to show them with the most expensive wine and rare, because the elite always likes to eat rare things. Rare eel, endangered species, you name it. The police in there in lavish party banquets. And guess what? They have now fired them. Now, I want to go to this next piece to show you what people can do, exposing the hypocrisy. This has made big news with the little boy out in Las Vegas, Nevada, who saw the cop drive up on the sidewalk to go in and get a soft drink. I'm going to play that report and then comment on it after. But calling out hypocrisy and letting, quotes, government servants, officials know that they're not God is what is going to get the bad ones out so there's only good ones in there. And so this is the attitude in China and here in America and other places of exposing the hypocrisy. This is what will bring them down. Let's go to this clip. A 12-year-old boy in Las Vegas, Nevada, did what all American adults need to be doing to keep our out-of-control government in check. He saw a police officer pull up on the sidewalk, go into a store to get a soft drink, and then waddle out. If a citizen would have done that, the cop would have written them a ticket or maybe even arrested them. We've seen many cases of people parking on the sidewalk and being arrested. And he says to the police officer, the public servant, are you responding to an emergency? Because you just pulled up here on the sidewalk. And the cop says, what are you, a lawyer? Let me see your ID. He turns it around. And that's what government does. It makes us all suspects under Homeland Security, under the fake war on terror and the fake war on drugs. And we never look at who the real suspect for corruption and tyranny is in history that our founding fathers warned us of: government and government servants. Because throughout history and in modern times, it is government that gets out of control and begins to dominate the population. So we wanted to show you this video. The young man shot the video sideways, so we're flipping it right side up so you can see it and follow along with it. But it's just an incredible illustration of how out of touch our government servants are, that he would try to intimidate the boy, claim that he was loitering, claim that he'd done something wrong, claim that he needed to, prove who he was, and wouldn't give the young man his badge number, which, by the way, is the state law there in Nevada and most other states that you're supposed to do that. So
yeah,
you have a cop breaking the law on multiple fronts for his convenience, and then trying to treat the boy like he was some type of serf or slave.
Thank you.
But within this is the essence of how we're going to save our society. Because most adults I know don't understand that cops can't do that unless there's an emergency. Most people don't understand that they have no responsibility to ID themselves to a police officer, even though they claim that you have a responsibility to, and have a lot of fake laws that have been overturned still on the books. So I want to salute this young man. And I want to challenge adults out there to do what he's done and stand up to this type of tyranny.
Hello? Is there a reason for you to park on the sidewalk? Is it like an emergency or anything?
Because I can.
Oh. Can I see your badge number?
Why?
Because I have the right to.
You do, huh?
Yeah.
What are you, junior lawyer?
No, I just want to see your badge number. Can I please see your badge number?
No.
Really? Huh? No, I'm minor. I'm Jeremy Drew. I'm Jeremy. I don't know, but is it an emergency why you can park a motorized vehicle on the sidewalk? Yeah. Yes. Because I don't think it's necessary to park your motorized vehicle on the sidewalk. No, I'm actually mailing this. Huh? I'm filming. Yeah. All right, well, can I see your badge number? No? All right.
So we salute you, Jeremy Drew. May you, a 12-year-old man, you are a man, encourage other men who have abdicated over their responsibility to stand up for the liberties and rights that our forebears fought so hard to secure. And in closing, as a newsman, as a talk show host who travels the country and talks to a lot of people and focuses on the news, I'm here to tell you, America and the world itself is waking up to government arrogance and red carpet hypocrisy. And the people aren't going to put up with the tyranny much longer. Look at Benghazi. Look at Fast and Furious. Look at so many other examples, the billions of bullets they've been caught buying, and the armored vehicles, and the training to take on the American people in a civil war. We don't just buy your denials and lies anymore. The sleeping giant has awoken. Now back to InfoWars Nightly News and Rob Dew. Okay, that was commentary I did last night on InfoWars Nightly News, and that's the type of stuff we cover every night at 7 o'clock Central. I skipped this network break so I can get to your calls on the Benghazi situation. It's just that whether it's in China or the United States or England, where they actually pulled it up, there are some British palaces with over 2,000 rooms. So when I said 1,000 rooms, it was more than that. And the communist Chinese former royal palace there in the Forbidden City has more than 9,000 rooms just in one part of it. So the elites can have their 9,000 rooms, and they're walled-off cities filled with, you know, basically sex slaves they grab out of the towns outside, but you can't have a hot shower. There it is, Daily Mail. One must take shorter showers, says Prince Charles. Prince urges British families to snub the bathtub, not take hot showers. See, anything I say you can pull up. Literally, it's incredible, all the stuff they do. Queen of England, it turned out, was getting billions of pounds in the last decade. This came out like 5 years ago, to heat her palaces, and they were taking the gas allowance for poor people. In England, it's cold, folks. They didn't have money for poor people to have gas. They had it, though, for the Queen to heat palaces no one was in. But he says you shouldn't take a hot bath. When England has more water than probably any other country in Europe. I mean, they're not trying to charge for water there. Not for the service, the water itself, when they have water coming out their ears. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about here. And then now with Benghazi. Again, I'm not tooting my horn, but I don't even really want to cover it because, I mean, what's the point? There it is. The Queen pleads poverty. Royal aides asks ministers for help with palace heating bill. That was just 15 million pounds for one palace. You can actually find the multi-billion dollar, or billion pound, excuse me, article. That was Daily Mail as well. Now expanding on all of this, but you need to go with less. Obama says, you know, if you're making $125,000 a year, you're rich. You need to pay more taxes. But he pays 18% tax. The average middle-class person pays over 40 federal tax, if you count Social Security on top of it, FICA. And then the big money guys, the billionaires, are basically all exempt because they write the laws. But that's okay because Obama spends $100 million per vacation. Biden, it's something like $50 million. You can pull it up. $100 million so that teleprompter reading Harvard whore lawyer can have the trendies all lust after him. I'm telling you, if GQ magazine told their readers it was trendy to shoot themselves in the head, they'd do it. I mean, hell, they got Gloria Steinem saying it's sexy to kill your kid. I had an abortion, and women are wearing them going, it's fun, it's my right. And they get into it, they're like, yeah, damn it, it's more. And it's the same culture. These are nothing but decadent slime bags begging for society to collapse. Criminals want things to collapse. They want to be caught at a subconscious level. Okay, I'm going to go to your phone calls. The question is, will Republicans just say it's a screw-up, resign Hillary? Like, may they get tough and call for a resignation? How about her arrest? Something like this could bring down the whole national security fraud system. Hey, they go or we all go. They go or your pension funds are gone. They're going to take everything because they like to do it. It's their nature. Don't get in a pit with 15 cobras. You're going to get bit. We either deal with them. It's us or them. I mean, I talk to reporters now, and I just go, I'm not going to try to convince you a jack squat. What planet are you living on to not know we're in deep trouble? They're all over the news saying they've recorded everything we've said and done for 10 years illegally, and they're smiling in our face. Every major vaccine has been found to have cancer virus nanotech packets in it. I call it nanotech. They're engineered long-term frozen, packed RNA into DNA fragments to be activated by hormonal fluctuations in the body. They're implanting us with soft-kill bioweapons. And I'm supposed to sit here and back off what I'm saying? I'm supposed to sit here and mince words? I'm supposed to sit here and play patty cake with everyone? Alex in San Diego on Benghazi. Go ahead.
How are you?
I'm all right, sir. I took my shots this morning. Go ahead.
Alex, I was just calling to actually bring up something real quick. Let's bring up that, I'm so sorry, I'm so nervous right now.
Just drink some fluoride, man. Come on.
Alex, I was going to mention the Republican logo, actually, real quick. And the
Yeah, it
stars
used to be the
that are
stars
on it.
were up, now the stars are upside down, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is something I think you should tackle. I mean, ask Ron Paul how he feels about that, and other Republicans. I mean, everything on flags and logos have meaning. And
Yeah, no, well,
there's
it doesn't mean he's part of it because the RNC flipped it 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I mean, it's just all part of, they think, they're saying we get negative power out of flipping. The star is the human body, the head, the arms, the legs. It's just a symbol of empowering humanity. It's an ancient symbol, a symbol of the stars, saying we came from the stars. That's the 5,000-year-old Egyptian equation of 666 sundial, okay? Now, they flip it upside down and say, we have dark power. That's all it is a bunch of wimps calling on satanic power, calling to be absolutely crushed, calling for Stargate of hell to open and swallow their soul into the ninth dimension. Ron Paul's a rock star in South America. He just got back. We're going to get into Benghazi Gate. We're going to get into the new carbon taxes they're pushing, your phone calls. We're going to have the 3D printable gun guy, now prints whole guns. He's coming on. We've got a lot more coming up today. Steve Pachinik on Benghazi in the third hour. Get his breakdown on that. He called it like it was day one. He said it was a hit on the ambassadors. He didn't want to give missiles to al-Qaeda. We'll see what Pachinik, former head of Black Ops for the State Department, on with us briefly. Let's go to Paul in New Jersey, then Tom, Jacob, Ship, and James and others. You're on the air, Paul. Welcome.
Hey, good afternoon, Alex. You're talking about the New World Order. It's been here for hundreds of years. We've been taken over since 1935. We haven't had a president for the United States.
Well, yeah, no, the War Powers Act in 33 put us under an emergency reorganization. It's a public document. They set up the state police that are really federal police. It's the second Reconstruction, and it's all admitted. But, you know, the average state police guy out there is just like the public. They don't even know which end is up. So how are you going to talk to them?
What I wanted to say is al-Qaeda is a terrorist organization for the UN. The Federal Reserve does it all, and the IRS is a terrorist collection agency for the UN.
Absolutely a fact. It was set up the same year as the Federal Reserve. It's all in the charter. It's all official.
And the income tax is unlawful as it pertains to you and me. Did you know that? It was only for corporations.
Yes, sir. That's right. And it wasn't given to the general public until 51. They put it on the poor troops.
UCC.
Yeah,
Universal Commercial Code.
You know, since you raised that, let me say something. How the mafia would work, the Italian mafia, famously in New Jersey, New York, you know, Illinois, they would come to you. This is famous. It's on record. And they'd say, listen, I'm not going to burn down your clothing or your grocery store or your bookstore. But if you don't pay me insurance money and hire my cousin, somebody's going to burn it down, and then your daughter's going to get raped. So you better pay me. And then if you didn't, it would happen. Now they just say, give me all your rights or al-Qaeda's going to blow you up. So instead of it being Cousin Luigi, it's Cousin Habib. And it's like, you're going to give me all your rights, or Habib's going to come in here and blow your butt off.
Hey, another thing I wanted to say. I was in jail, and one thing happened, and I was in jail with the Gotti guys. And the reason Gotti was put in jail was he was going to go into the drug trade. So that would cut in on the face.
Yeah, no. The Italians got too big for their britches against the WASP, the Irish, the Jewish mafia. That's always been the biggest mafia in this country. So, I mean, remember, there wasn't even an Italian mafia in the news till the 50s. They wouldn't even admit organized crime existed. They said there was lone gangsters. What a joke.
The government mafia now.
No, the government, the big banks run the CIA and ship the drugs in. That's public. And, yes, that's why they shut down John Gotti, is he wanted to, well, from what I read, he wanted to ship smack in, correct? And they didn't like that?
Right.
So you were in jail with them. What'd they say?
Oh, that's what they said. We wouldn't have been in here if Gotti didn't say he was going into the drug business.
What were you in jail in New Jersey for, Paul?
Well, I went in for the income tax, but I found out later they're trying to come after me again after I got out. And when I was in jail, when I come back, I was on parole, and they took me before the judge again, and I had a pocket Constitution in my car. Hey, Judge, here's the Constitution.
Hey, why were they telling you all this stuff? Are you a fellow paisano?
No. But the judge said, don't bring the Constitution to my court. And you know what I said to him? I said, Judge, you're a treasonous traitor. And he didn't like that. And he got all upset, and he told the prosecutor, send him for mental evaluation.
Oh, yeah, they took that big music star who criticized the government. That's up on InfoWars. They sent her for re-education. What's her name?
Down to Butler, North Carolina.
Yeah, Macy Gray. All right, brother, I got to go. Thank you, Paul. Tom, good to hear from you, brother. Let's talk to Jacob in Wisconsin. Thanks for holding, Jacob. You're a trooper.
Hey, Alex. Huge fan. I spoke to you before about John McCain delivering the rape pills to Gaddafi people, like a couple years back.
Well, I mean, they made up that Gaddafi's people were raping people like babies out of incubators so they could actually go and slaughter everyone in mass. But, John McCain is a piece of work.
Yeah, but the reason I'm calling on Benghazi, cause it's kind of like a topic type call, but, I just look at that and it's like, could any of that kind of be responsible for what we're seeing unfolding in this and all the, the ambassador's death and everything? Like, had we not set up the no-fly zone and been involved in all that and the, that spark of revolution, do you think maybe that would not have happened to the ambassador?
Well, they ordered security to stand down. They lied about the stand downs. They wanted him dead to cover up the weapons transfers. I appreciate your call. I just don't understand maybe I'm thick-skulled or something. But yes, the West went over there. I get your point about McCain. They brought the al-Qaeda people into Benghazi to launch the larger war. That was the head of the rebellion. Then, after Gaddafi's killed, then there's a big weapons cache there of missiles. They've been ordering the jihadis to bring them all there and put them there so they could hand them out to who they wanted. And the jihadis, the head of security group for the entire city, went and killed him. And that was all known then. This is not all breaking now. We're right again. And it wasn't hard. It was all in the international press. It's like, man, Alan, you were right again. I don't want people to say, oh, you're so smart. I want to stop all this. But again, it shows they're not invincible. Some people are like, this has got to be another setup because there's no way this would all be coming out. These people are just people like us. They're a bunch of arrogant crooks that think they're never going to get caught. James in Michigan, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello. I wanted to talk about that treason in Benghazi there. Our forefathers had warned us of those entanglements. I don't believe anything's really going to happen other than the dog and pony show. I believe Hillary's their baby. All these unlawful regulations from presidents past, including executive orders, all of them are in place for, I believe, personally, Hillary to run in 16 is first woman.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Hillary is a deep witch, CIA since college with Clinton over in England. That's all been declassified. A total witch. She was under Cordmeyer. And the Republicans are acting like they dropped the ball. They didn't drop the ball. The Republicans are supporting al-Qaeda attacking Libya and Syria as well.
Exactly, and what's going on here, I totally agree with Moncton. These people, they want to be the intercessors between God and man. They don't want us to have a personal relationship. One other thing before the next Info Warrior, I'd like to plug our video. It's on YouTube called A Dream Revered. Look for it, and God bless.
God bless you. Yeah, we've closed out the contest, but if you haven't heard us post your video or talk about it, be sure and get it to us in email again. We've had over 400 videos come in. One of them deals with a home invasion. It's a pro-Second Amendment video, very powerful, that you should send anti-gun people. That's up on my Twitter account, Real Alex Jones, but extremely, extremely important information. Okay, let's go to Mark in New Jersey. You're on the air, Mark.
Yeah, Alex.
Yes, sir. You're on the air.
Okay. I got a couple things to say. One of them is definitely this Benghazi. I see this as an open door where we can get our foot. If we can get our politicians, representatives, whoever, to push to get this. I mean, to really get this out in the open. This poor guy, Gregory Hicks, he looks. I mean, just watching them, they are shooken up. But this is their friends that they're trying to back, and they know that they're next.
Oh, yeah, they were ordered to stand down over those 6 to 8 hours so they could all be killed to cover up the weapons transfer. And now it's mainstream news today that our government and NATO is open. The main force now in command in Syria is al-Qaeda. Here's the headline: Al-Qaeda now in control of CIA's covert war in Syria, and they have heat-seeking missiles. And here's the deal. When they shoot down our aircraft with those missiles, we'll be called conspiracy theorists for pointing out our government transferred it to them. Good points. I appreciate your call. Yeah, no, this could bring them down. I mean, Nixon was an angel compared to this. He went to jail for, breaking into some places. This is amazing. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.